Right, let's continue our example. So WebDriver searches for elements using few different ways. Elements can be found by ID, by class, by name. The links can be found by link text or partial link text. So in this case, let's see what we want to do. So this is where Firebug comes in handy. Click this icon over here, and it allows us to inspect elements. And since we're going to be using search functionality, we can click, let's change to HTML, and we can click right here. So, and what we see here is that element has a class called icon eSearch. We can use class to find that element. So let's copy class name, go to Visual Studio, and write the following. iWebElement, so we're creating object of type iWebElement. Let's call it search icon, because we will be locating search icon here, and it equals driver dot find element by, as I already said, we're going to be using class name, put class name in here. We're done. So this right here means that this object now contains class name. Class name comes from driver finding element by class name, so the element will be there. It's not just the class name, the whole element will be contained inside the search icon iWebElement. Now we will use this element at search icon dot click, and this will bring us to a search text field. Let's save the work just in case. I don't know, for me it's habitual really, especially on older computers when they kept crashing and freezing. It was very important to save your work all the time, and I think it still comes in handy quite often. Let's see. Just to see if this runs, let's compile it and run it using NUnit. Okay, we got to the page and it was clicked. Perfect. So let's go back to Visual Studio. Not that we're there. On the search page, what we need to do is create another web element. Let's call it search field, and it will equal to driver dot find element will be by, and let's see by what we will find it. So once we click here, we'll use Firebug again, see what this element is, click on it. There are a few different things that we can use here. For experiment's sake, let's use CSS selector to find this element. So we're still gonna click here, but we will select fire path, CSS here, and we'll find this. This is what CSS looks like. We can copy it. Let's go back to Visual Studio here. So it's iWeb element, search field driver, find element by. And here we see CSS selector. Once we're there, we will do this search field, just this element, the one that contains text field for the search right now. Dot, we see all the available methods. We will do send keys. And search for any text here. Let's use WebDriver as our search criteria. And after that, we do search field dot submit. Save the work. Let's go next. So ideally, if this will work, we will click on the magnifying glass for search. It will open the page with search. The search text box. We will type WebDriver there and press enter, submit rather there, and it will show us the results. So let's see how it would look. So we type WebDriver, press enter. Let's see. So after we typed WebDriver, there was one result that came up here. Let's see. So it says how to download and install Selenium WebDriver. So that's the link text that can be used for element search as well. Let's go back to our Visual Studio. Let's create another iWeb element. Call it searched link, and it will equal driver, find element by, we have two options here, partial link text and link text. Let's do partial link text, not to use the whole thing. Our partial link text will be, let's see, Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver. And once we find that, do searched link dot click. This will navigate us to the post. And once we're there, we just need to make sure that we are on the correct page. For that, we can use NUnit. So let's click here. And one of the easiest ways to do it is to use title of the page. So as you can see, title of the page, when I point here, says how to download and install Selenium WebDriver QA examples. So let's go back here and do this. Assert that true driver title contains and we can look at the page source and copy the whole title from here. Let's see. Here's title. copy. We'll go back here. You can either copy the whole thing, but since we're only using contains, we can just do portion of it. So any part really would work. After that, let's save this. Let's build, compile this, go back to NUnit, and run. See what we got here. So Firefox opens up, maximizes. We go to qaexamples.com. The page opens up. We go to the search, WebDriver, click on the link, closed it, and it passed, which means the assertion was true. Title did in fact contain, download, and install Selenium WebDriver, and our test passes. There are a few things that can simplify this or make it easier to read. For example, we can create few variables at the beginning that will help us with future maintenance of this test case. Let's create three. Let's see. Let's create 1, 2. Yes, 3 strings. First one for this WebDriver search parameter. So let's call it search parameter equals WebDriver. Wonder what I just clicked. That was weird. Copy. Let's paste it in here. Now, string link text equals and string title name equals this is link text, this is title name. Now we can use search parameter here. Link text here. And title name here. Another thing that could have been done here, and there are obviously quite a few different ways to arrange your code, but now one of the things that many people like to use, and in my opinion it makes it slightly harder to read the code, but this search where we created web element right here, search icon, and then search icon invoked method click, that can be done in the same line. If you'll type dot click here, that will be same as putting it in a different line. I prefer splitting it into different lines because in my opinion it's easier to read. And that is all for our example. Thank you for watching.